Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, days and gays. This is the Real Pineapple. This is your humble host, Hunter, here. Happy AEW All In weekend, everyone. I am so stoked. AEW All In is tomorrow, taking place from the legendary Wembley Stadium over in London, England. I am so excited for um, all my Twitter friends who I constantly talk wrestling with who are getting a chance to go to the show and check it out. So, for those of you who don't keep up on AEW, what up, Afternoon Tune? Um, um, so for those of you who don't keep up on AEW, they're going to be running All In next year in Arlington, Texas. So I damn sure will be going to the Texas show. I'm going to go all out for that show. That's going to be mid-July. So not ideal for weather, as someone who's lived in Texas for years, who lived in Texas for years and knows Texas heat. Texas heat in July, not great. Not a big fan of it, but it's going to be for an AEW show, and I am beyond fucking giddy to witness AEW live. I was going to go to Wrestle Dream in October up in Seattle. That might still happen, but more than likely, I'm looking at next the summer for All In. But with that said, let me take a little hit here. Give me a second. Stuff. We're gonna be I'm gonna be talking about real quick my predictions for the show. I am gonna get back to reviewing Dynamite and maybe more consistently reviewing Collision. I just got to get better about it. It's been kind of a crazy week. I've been doing quite a few film interviews, several which I mean you're gonna be hearing them soon. The one I can tell you that's gonna be coming out Monday. Thanks, Afternoon Tune. I'm about to tell you one interview I just did, and there's a reason why I've been a little busy. Cut me some slack. But the review I'm going to be dropping on Monday, along with an interview for it. It's this new film called Catching Dust, which is directed by first-time director Stuart Gatt. And I was really lucky, really fortunate enough to interview Stuart. But then I also got to interview the star of the film in Aaron Moriarty, who of course you know as Starlight from The Boys. So that review will be coming out on Monday. I got a few minutes to talk to them. Both of them horribly nice. Like, you know, I'm a huge fan of The Boys. I'm a huge fan of Aaron Moriarty. I mean, obviously she's fucking cool and gorgeous and stunning, and she was so nice. Like, I was so happy to be like, oh my gosh, you're just as cool as you seem like you would be. So I'm real excited to bring that to y'all. That'll be up Monday morning. So yeah, interview with Stuart Gatt and Aaron Moriarty, as well as a review for the film as well. So that'll all be up on Monday morning. So yeah, I'm excited to bring that to y'all. And there will be video of it up, video of the interview up as well on my YouTube on Monday morning. So with that said, as I mentioned, AEW All In is tomorrow. The pre-show starts at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. You can watch it several ways. I went ahead and got a VPN and bought it through Triller TV. That's what I would recommend. The card as follows. I'm going to run down the card first. So on the pre-show, we've got Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway taking on Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii. We've got the Casino Gauntlet match for a future AEW World title shot. I did catch on Collision tonight that it looks like it does look like you can cash in that opportunity whenever you want, which I think will factor in later in the night. But I will go ahead and I'll get back to that in a moment for how that will play out potentially later on. Chris Jericho takes on Hook for the FTW Championship. The Young Bucks versus FTR versus the Acclaimed in a triple threat tag match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. In a London ladder match, the Patriarchy, Christian Cage, Killswitch, Nick Wayne take on the Bang Bang Gang, Juice Robinson, and the Guns, Austin and Colton, versus the House of Black, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews, and then versus Blackpool Combat Club and Pac. So that's going to be the combination of Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta teaming up with Pac in a ladder match for those World Trios tag titles. Darby Allin takes on the Scapegoat TNT champion Jack Perry in a coffin match. Mercedes Moné will take on Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, for the AEW TBS Championship. MJF will defend his AEW American Championship against the hometown boy, Will Ospreay, for the AEW All-American title. Timeless Tommy Storm will take on Mariah May for the AEW Women's World title. And then our main event, title versus, and then in our main event, is it Bryan Danielson's last match? I don't know. Swerve Strickland will take on Bryan Danielson for the AEW Championship. So I'm gonna keep the stream kind of short because had a big cleaning brigade earlier, so I'm a little tired. But I'm gonna go through these real quick. I'm gonna take a big sip of beer. Give me a second here. That's the stuff. All right, so let's go through these one at a time. So Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway versus Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii. Willow Nightingale is the CMLL Women's Champion, which I'm so happy for Willow. She's fucking amazing. Chris Statlander, I've really enjoyed her heel turn. I think it was necessary for her, and I think she's gonna end up. Flourishing as a heel, personally. I think in this match, like I would say Willow and Ishii win, but Willow did beat Statlander in the Own Heart tournament, which I think surprised a lot of people. So I think I'm actually going to go Statlander here. Statlander and Stokely. I think they're going to find a way to pull it off, probably through nefarious means, but I think they're going to go ahead and get the win. So I'm going to go Statlander and Stokely in that match. The Casino Gauntlet match for a future AEW World Title shot. So this one is interesting. We don't know everyone who's in the match. I know Orange Cassidy is in the match and Heyman Page is in the match. So this is clearly going to set up for some surprises potentially. Probably Jon Moxley coming back, who hasn't been on TV in a minute, which honestly, good. I'm happy Moxley hasn't been on TV because he's actually been able to get a fucking break. Because honestly, that fucker has been working pretty much since day one, it seems like, of AEW. And back when he was supposed to take a break when CM Punk won the championship, CM Punk got hurt. And so they put the title right back on Moxley. So Moxley has really been the Iron Man, I think, of American wrestling for the last 5 years. Moxley's been incredible, and I don't think he gets nearly enough credit. Yeah, of course he likes blood in his matches, but so the fuck what? That in no way takes away from the man's match quality. He has been the ace of American wrestling. I think he's wrestled the most matches. I think he's put on the most consistently great matches, whether that's in GCW, whether it's in New Japan, whether it's in AEW, whether it's in Bloodsport. The man has been the shit, and I think that we need to stop sleeping on Mox and actually give him his props. I've been horribly impressed by his run, but I think Moxley makes his return tomorrow. Yeah, it makes sense that he would. So happy for Mox. Hopefully he's back. But at the end of the day, this is Hangman Page's match to win. He is obsessed with becoming the AEW World Champion. He is beyond pissed off that Swerve is a champion. So I think what's going to end up happening is that Hangman will win. Most likely it'll come down. My pick will come down to him and Moxley. I think it'll come down to him, Moxley, and Ricochet. I think Ricochet makes his debut tomorrow. It's been long rumored, but I think Ricochet makes his debut tomorrow. So I think Hangman ends up winning the match, and then he ends up cashing in during the Swerve Hangman Swerve Hangman or the Swerve Danielson match, making it a triple threat. And if you remember, I said literally a month ago when Bryan Danielson the won the Owen Hart Invitational to become the number one contender, I said that there was a way that they would get Hangman in this match and make it a triple threat. And I had so many people go, "Oh no, there's no way they're gonna figure that." See, people, sometimes you do need to give stories a fucking chance to just breathe. So I think that's what our main event ends up truly being, is Swerve versus Danielson versus Hangman. And I'll get to what I think will happen there in a few minutes. All right, moving forward, Chris Jericho takes on Hook for the FTW Championship. The stipulation is that if I believe the stipulation is that if Hook loses, he can no longer challenge for the FTW Championship. And I'm going to be honest, this is one of those cases where I can't stand Chris Jericho. I think he is long. The please retire chants that you hear sometimes. I'm one of the people leading those fucking chants. I'm so over Jericho. And I think one of the big reasons has been that Jericho has been a constant on AEW, and I just don't find his character interesting anymore. I know he's reinvented himself, and I know people always want to give him credit for that. And look, fair enough, Jericho has been able to pull off multiple gimmicks and get over multiple things. So I will give the devil his due. But at the same time, him being a champion of any kind in 2024 is fucking ridiculous. There's no fucking reason he should be the FTW champion, and I'm over this learning tree shit. So while I want Hook to win, just because I want Jericho to get his ass whipped, I actually want Jericho to win for this reason. Hook has been kind of stymied by that FTW championship. Yes, he's challenged for like the AEW championship, and he challenged for the like a contendership for the tag titles. He's had these opportunities, but I think that FTW championship, I if anything, have Hook win it, retire it, and then let's move Hook up the card. Let's have him challenging for that international championship. Let's have him in TNT title contention. If you're going to tell me that the FTW championship will be used like for something for Hook to carry around, but he can go ahead and continue to elevate his stock, then yeah, do that. The other thing is too though that we don't know if Hook's resigned. Apparently his contract is up before the end of the year. So there is a world where Jericho wins and Hook is just done. Like there is a world where they do that. So I don't know. I'm curious how this is gonna go. I feel like Hook is gonna win. That's my official pick, but I'm not nearly as confident in it as I probably should be. But I digress. All right, moving on. The Young Bucks, Matthew Nicholas Jackson versus FTR. Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood versus the Acclaimed, Anthony Bowens and Max Caster for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. Okay. This is a really hard match for me to pick. So let's call this what it is. The Young Bucks took on Sting and Darby Allin back at AEW Revolution. I believe it was back in March. Sting's last match, finals of a tag team tournament. Sting and Darby Allin win. Sting retires as a champion. Right decision. Right team went over. Great fucking moment. Loved it. But then we go ahead and we do a tournament anyway, and the Bucks win the championship with help from the scapegoat Jack Perry, the now TNT champion. So yeah, it makes sense that the Bucks wouldn't defend the titles a lot because they're EVPs and they're heels and all that. But even for heels, they have not been defending these titles at fucking all. I think it's been like two title defenses in the last couple months. Like it's been a while. So I really they won these back in I think June, if memory serves. I think it was June. Now I'm sitting here. Now I'm questioning myself. Yeah, it was June 30th. So was that? So July, August, September, or wait, June. Oh, wait, July, August. So I mean, 2 months. It's been very underwhelming having the Bucks with the titles. And I'm really questioning myself because I feel like they won the titles earlier than that. Man, I might just confuse myself. But but yeah, the Bucks, like, okay, yeah, no, they did win the titles earlier than this. Now I'm trying to remember when they won the titles. Let me look this up now. I'm actually I'm actually okay, so it's April. That's right. So okay, I'm not losing my mind. So yeah, so that's what that May, June, July, August. So it's been 4 months, and they defended titles I think 2 times. Like come on, y'all. Like you could at least be defending these fuckers once a month. So yeah, I've been underwhelmed by the Bucks. I think the gimmick is fun, but I would like to see them be. I would like to see the titles getting more play. So I want them to lose off that alone. With that said, I love Cash and Dash. I love FTR. I don't want another FTR title reign, tag title reign right now. I really don't. But then we get to the Acclaimed, and I'll be honest. I think the Acclaimed as heels is kind of the route to go, but it doesn't really make sense for them to win the titles and then turn heel. So I don't really know what we do here. And this has been my one knock on AEW for like the last 6 months. I do believe the tag division has suffered. Yes, we are starting to ramp up the trios division again, but I think you can have a great tag division and have great trios division going at the same time. So I'm really torn on this match as far as who I want to win. I think what would make the most sense is probably FTR winning, but at the same time, I do think the Acclaimed. I mean, they could win the belts and like turn on Daddy Ass even and go heel that way. I mean, that would be a route you could go. So I'm gonna say the Acclaimed, but this is the match. I'll be honest, this is probably the one I'm the least confident on. I'm very like, I guess the Acclaimed on this. So I'm gonna say the Acclaimed, but again, I could be completely wrong. um, Moving on to that that 4-way ladder match for the AEW trios, World Trios titles. The Patriarchy, Christian Cage, Kill Switch, and Nick Wayne versus the Bang Bang Gang, Juice Robinson, Austin and Colton Gunn, House of Black, Malachi Black, Brody King, Buddy Matthews versus Blackpool Combat Club and Pac, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Pac. So this is actually one I'm torn on for a great reason, because I think you can make a case for pretty much everyone to win except for the Bang Bang Gang. So the Bang Bang Gang just had a very successful trios run. I really enjoyed what they did with the trios titles. Christian Cage, he is probably my favorite heel in wrestling. I think the man is fucking brilliant. He said that he wants to elevate these titles on his way to becoming AEW champion. I think that's a very interesting storyline to keep an eye on for over the next year, especially. But there's multiple things that could happen here. Maybe Killswitch finally snaps because Killswitch has been treated like a bitch by Christian Cage, really more intensely since they won the trios titles. There's a world where that happens. There's a world where the House of Black once again gets trios gold. That could very easily happen. But then, and this is what I'm picking, even though it would be a short reign for the Patriarchy, but I think this would lead to an interesting program between the two teams. I think Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Pac. I think you give Pac the big win in his hometown. I think I just have a feeling the Blackpool Combat Club and Pac are going to win it. I just have this feeling. So I'm gonna go, and that's in direct reasoning for another match, but that I'll get to in a second. I think Pac pulls the titles down, officially joins the Blackpool Combat Club, because it does look like the Lucha Brothers are going to WWE, which bums me out. But at the same time, happy for the Lucha Brothers. Get that bag. I hope they treat you well if you do end up going over there. But I think that's what's going to happen. I think Pac's going to pull down the titles, and we get the feel good moment of Pac becoming a trios champion once again. Moving on, Jack Perry versus Darby Allin in a coffin match. So Darby won a coffin match last year with Sting. against Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage actually last year. Jack Perry just went through and did all this destruction to the TNT Championship, made the belt his own, gave it this like very gothic, like burned look, which is pretty badass, I will say. I don't think you have him go through all that effort to just have him lose the title this quickly. I think it'll be an intense match. I think Darby and him have ridiculous chemistry, so I'm excited to see the match just from that perspective alone. But at the end of the day, I think Darby is going to lose this match. I think Jack Perry is going to get a big win. Yeah, so I think that's going to be what happens. I think Jack Perry retains after a very intense match. Moving on, we've got Mercedes Moné, the CEO, the New Japan Strong Women's Champion, and the AEW TBS Champion, defending the TBS Championship against Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. So, Britt Baker came back about 7 weeks ago. It's been really nice to have her back. Her and Mercedes had a great contract signing this past Wednesday. I would highly recommend you go check it out if you haven't seen it yet. But it's too early to take the title off Mercedes. She's just starting to build her legacy with the championship. I do think, okay, here's the thing. Do I think that Becky Lynch, aka Rebecca Quinn, do I think she shows up tomorrow? No. Is there the small part of me that think there's more of a chance than people are giving it credit for? Yes. And here's why I say that. I think Becky Lynch, Rebecca Quinn, whatever you want to call her, I think she might see the new wave of people coming in to WWE, your Roxanne Perez's, your Nikita Lyons, your Liv Morgans who are being elevated, people like that. And she just might kind of go, I've worked a lot of these people. I've main evented WrestleMania. I've won, the women's championship, the tag titles. Like, I've won the Royal Rumble. She just might be bored. Like, she just might go, I've done everything I can do over there. Let me challenge myself and be able to, go to AEW and potentially work indies. I think being a mom and being able to work an indie show and get fucking paid and then, take time off, that might be something that she's totally down for. Plus, I think AEW potentially, maybe they give her more rope as far as doing like more acting stuff. I think the chances of it are small, but I think they're definitely higher than a lot of people are giving it credit for. With that said, I think what happens tomorrow is that Jamie Hayter makes her return in front of her countrymen and women and people, and I think she makes a save for Britt Baker, or maybe she's even out, to walk her out to the ring. Here's where I think there could be a swerve. I could see Britt turning on Jamie. I could see Britt losing the match, being fucking heartbroken, and then just walloping Jamie and beating the shit out of her. I could see that happen. I could see that very distinctly happening, actually, because I do think Britt's a better heel than a face. And yeah, so I there's a world I could see where Britt actually turns on Jamie tomorrow. And turning on her in front of all those people would be amazing heat, number one. Number two, we do have All Out coming out in a few weeks in Chicago. I don't know if you want to blow off the match that soon, but maybe there's a tag match you could get. Maybe you get like Mercedes and Mercedes, Camille, and Britt maybe teaming up, and then Jamie has to find two partners. I mean, that's a potential thing. I think there are ways to delay the match, but you could still have them interact. So that's kind of a Hail Mary, but I think there's a better chance of that happening than people might suspect. So I'm going to throw that out there as kind of a wild prediction, but something I could see happening. All right, moving on. MJF. Oh, MJF, you bastard. MJF defends his AEW American Championship against the aerial assassin, one of my man crushes, Will Ospreay. Um, it's crazy to me what Will Ospreay has done in the last year. Um, Last year at Wembley, he took on Chris Jericho. I thought in a better match than I thought they would have, just because again Jericho. But you look at what Ospreay's done in the last year. Banger matches against Kanose Takeshita, against Claudio Castagnoli, against Roderick Strong, against Swerve Strickland, against Bryan Danielson. I think Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson is maybe the greatest wrestling match I've seen in my life. It is about as perfect as a match can get. No, I don't think MJF is racist. I think he just lives the gimmick. Um, um, Sorry, I'm typing here as I'm losing my train of thought. So yeah, so Osprey losing in front of all those people would be devastating, but I think that's what's going to happen. I think this show is going to have a couple moments that are meant to break your heart, but you'll get the payoff obviously later on. I think Osprey loses here because of some shenanigans, and I think MJF is going to retain. I just have this feeling. Um, Daniel Garcia, um, who MJF took off TV, he apparently has not re-signed with AEW. Apparently, he has the rumors he has had talks with WWE. I hope Daniel Garcia stays just because I'm just a huge fan of his work, and I think he's right on that tier of breaking through. And I think if he goes to WWE, he gets put in NXT, and I don't think that's personally a good spot for him. But we'll see. Daniel Garcia could come out and factor into this match. But at the end of the day, I do think that MJF finds a way to retain the AEW American Championship. So I'm gonna stick with that. I'm gonna say MJF wins. Moving on. The best feud in all wrestling. It has been the best story of all wrestling. I know people go, what about the bloodline? What about Cody finishing the story? I think this is the best storyline that there's been running for the last. This is the best storyline, one of the best storylines in the last decade. It's one of the best stories in women's wrestling in the last 20 years. And man, if I did a top 10 like favorite feuds, like builds for a feud ever, this is definitely my top 10. I fucking love the feud between Timeless Tony Storm and Mariah May for the AEW Women's World Championship. So, as someone who's been actually pretty familiar with Mariah May's work, because I do try to watch some, catch some shows. There we go. From the Stardom promotion when I can. Mariah May has a vicious streak. She is fucking terrifying. I think a very underrated striker. And that's something that we've started to see more as she's gotten more reps on AEW TV. It's a fucking tragic story. As far as how they told this, Mariah May shows up as this annoying fangirl for Tony Storm. Tony Storm is like, ew, go away. But then she just kind of endears herself to her and kind of wears her down. She starts to like her and falls for her and cares for her. And some amazing segments between Mariah May, Timeless Tony Storm, and Luther. But you knew the other shoe, literally and figuratively, had to drop at some point. And the way that Mariah May beat up Tony Storm, that vicious assault after she won the Own Heart Invitational Tournament and secured her trip to Wembley, fucking heartbreaking. Fucking broke my heart. Again, knew it was coming, but the savagery of it was just so intense. And the promo packages that they've put together have been top tier. That is something AEW over the last this year, I would say, especially on the poster side. They've been killing it with their promo game and their poster game. And the promo, you can find it on YouTube. I know you can find it on Twitter. I don't know if you can find it on YouTube yet. But the promo package that was voiced by TCM, Turner Classic Movies, Ben Benowitz, is fucking fantastic. I watched it earlier and I was amazed. So I'm hyped for this feud, the conclusion of this feud, at least for now. Mariah May, she is the right answer. Now, I think there are a couple directions you could go. You could have Mariah May steal the last thing that means anything to Tony. You could have Luther come back and side with Mariah May. You could do that. There's a world where that happens, but I do think Mariah May finds some way, whether it's the shoe, whether it's a championship. I do think it will be some tomfoolery that occurs, and I think Mariah May is going to become our new AEW Women's Champion, and I'm excited for her run. I think Mariah May's heel turn has been great so far. I mentioned her striking, her shotgun drop kick has been fucking fantastic that she hits on women, and I think she is going to kick so much ass as AEW Women's Champion. So yeah, we're gonna see, but I think Mariah May gets the win here. And then in our main event, as I mentioned earlier, because I think Hangman Page is going to win the Casino Battle Royal and cash in tomorrow. Triple threat match will be Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Page for the AEW Championship. AEW has really excelled at triple threat matches, whether it's Samoa Joe, Hangman, and Swerve, or whether it's Orange Cassidy, Pac, Kenny Omega. AEW has really done a great job with triple threat matches, and I think this one could be an all-time classic. Bryan Danielson is going to get a hero's welcome tomorrow at Wembley, as well he should. Swerve Strickland has been leaning. That's the thing I love about Swerve. Like, I love Swerve Strickland, and just as a black man, I've been so happy to see his rise from, you know, being on fucking 205 Live back in WWE to being one of the most important wrestlers in the industry and the top guy in AEW. I've loved what Swerve has done. I've loved the aura that he has presented as champion. He feels like a world champion. But Bryan Danielson's my GOAT. I remember growing up watching WWF at the time, and now WWE, and just thinking, oh, it'll never get better than Shawn Michaels. And then I started getting into Bryan Danielson's work. I started seeing him at Ring of Honor and you know, and seeing him in WWE. And this second run that Danielson has had ever since he came back from not being cleared by WWE doctors, the fact that he came back, had that second run in WWE, was the Planet's champion, which was fucking great and underrated as hell. Then he goes to AEW and has this whole other second career, having banger matches against Claudio, Moxley, Kenny Omega, Okada, 2 great Okada matches, Eddie Kingston. I know I'm forgetting matches, but like Roosh, him and Roosh had an amazing match. Him and MJF had the best fucking 60-minute Iron Man match I've ever seen in my life. Like, I mentioned it earlier, Will Ospreay, Bryan Danielson. I do believe it might be the best match I've ever seen in my life. Bryan Danielson has been on another level, and he, in my opinion, is the greatest wrestler of all time. Does it end here tomorrow? I don't know. Because there is that part of me. Danielson's talked about the fact that he needs to get neck surgery. I don't know if you have. So I think this could go 2 ways. This could be a triple threat match. Like, Heyman cashes in right when the match is about to start, and then we get a full triple threat match. He could cash in middle of the match, like Swerve and Danielson knock each other down at the same time. They're both laying on the ground exhausted. Then Heyman cashes in. There's a world where that happens. Or what I think the out could be, and I think this would be a clever out. Danielson beats Swerve, wins the match, therefore technically, becoming a new champion, keeping his career intact. Hangman comes out, jumps Danielson, cashes in there, buckshot lariat, pins him. He becomes a new champion. He leaves going to Wembley. He leaves Wembley as our new AEW champion. You could even do a thing of, oh man, the buckshot was so devastating that it hurt Danielson's neck. He has to get surgery. So then for Wrestle Dream in October, you could have Hangman Page versus Swerve Strickland 3. Hangman wins that match, retains, holds onto the belt, and then you could have Danielson back maybe the summer to go ahead at next year's All In, and we get Danielson Hangman. That could be what you end up doing. And there's a world where I see that could very easily happen. So I'm going to say it's a bit of a cheat. I will just say that Danielson wins this match if it stays one-on-one. But if it becomes a triple threat, Hangman will leave Wembley as the AEW champion. That's my pick. I know it's kind of a two-pronged pick, but given the story laid out, you can see why. But everybody, what are your picks? Let me know in the comments. Let me know who you got. I'm so excited for this show. I don't think I'll do a review of it tomorrow. It'll probably be Tuesday. Am I doing anything Tuesday? Oh yeah, I am streaming on Tuesday. So Tuesday I will be streaming. Machete and Machete Kills, because that just seemed like fun. And then I'm also going to be streaming Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Season 1 review with guest hosts Brandon and Bradley. Shout out to them. We're all excited to get them back on the pod. So I'll have a review of those reviews up Tuesday. As I mentioned, my review for Catching Dust will be up on Monday morning, as well as my interview in video and audio form with director Stuart Gatt and Aaron Moriarty. That will be up on Monday morning as well. And then let me see what else. I am going on vacation this week, next weekend, so I will have some reviews that will be up. So I'll have reviews up for Machete and Machete Kills up, as well as reviews for Tales of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then I'll have reviews up as well for Blink Twice, and then The Crow. There we go. So yeah, I'll have some reviews up next week as well, along with the Catching Dust review and interviews. So everyone, thank you so much for listening. Stay safe, take care of each other. Go ahead and subscribe to the show. You can follow me here on Twitch at twitch.tv/TheRealPineapple. You can follow me on YouTube at The Real Pineapple. That's REEL Pineapple. You can follow me on Blue Sky at realpineapple.bsky.social. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and the Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. That's JHunter, and then REEL, and then Pineapple. And you can follow me on Letterboxd at Black Shazam. And go ahead and listen to, like, share, subscribe, rate the podcast 5 stars. It definitely helps me out. You can follow the podcast pretty much wherever you listen to them. SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, TuneUp, and Samsung Podcasts, to name a few, at The Real Pineapple. Everyone, thank you so much for listening. Stay safe. Take care of each other. I want to send a special shout out, though, to all the people over at AEW. Tony Khan, you awesome bastard, you. Thank you for restoring my my love of pro wrestling. Thank you so much, man. This 5 years has been a blast. I'm so excited to see, for all my Twitter friends that are in London. I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're having fun. To all of us, all you out there, as we head up to the long 3-day weekend next week. Hope you're all staying safe. I hope you're all well. Give someone a hug, give someone a compliment. We can all use some more positivity, but never forget, as always, to keep it real. Thanks again, everyone, and I will talk to y'all on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. All right, cheers.